In this video, I'm going to give you a September 2018 UFO disclosure update. While we've heard whispers about congressional hearings taking place on the UFO subject from people such as Luis Elizondo, David Fravor, Hal Puthoff, Tom DeLonge, and others, there is actually hard data suggesting that hearings are indeed underway or have already occurred. Via the blog Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Scientific Research, it was demonstrated that the following was written in the congressional record from April 9, 2018. 4381, a letter from the Chief Congressional Relations Division, Defense Intelligence Agency, Department of Defense, transmitting a list of all products produced under the Advanced Aerospace Threat and Identification Program. Contract for the Defense Intelligence Agency to publish to the Committee on Armed Services. In this blog post, the following is written regarding the congressional record excerpt. The team's understanding is that this means that the reference to Committee on Armed Services is to the House of Representatives Armed Services Committee. Does this mean that there was a presentation of some kind around April 2018? Are these products back in the 2007-2012 era or later? Was this a review brought about by the New York Times article of 2017? The finding of this item just raises further questions. Here is a very interesting tweet from U.S. Senator Jim Inhofe on September 5th, 2018. I am deeply honored my colleagues selected me to lead the SASC, Senate Armed Services Committee. America is facing new and unprecedented threats different from anything we've seen before. I look forward to working with Senator Jack Reed and the entire committee to ensure our military is ready to defend America. Some believe Jim Inhofe's sentiment regarding America is facing new and unprecedented threats different from anything we've seen before is referencing the UAP presence. Advisor UAP suggested this. Unprecedented threats different from anything we've seen before? SASC requested that all products produced by ATIP be published to the committee. Stephen Bassett responded, WTF? And then Advisor UAP responded, Steve, I wanted to get your thoughts on SASC's request for a full briefing on what was produced from ATIP according to the congressional record this past April. We now have a new chair for the committee, Jim Inhofe, who posted about, quote, new unprecedented threats, end quote. Bassett responds, it's interesting, but I don't expect any follow-up until the current political hurricane has passed. Now, was Jim Inhofe's comment, quote, America is facing new and unprecedented threats different from anything we've seen before, end quote, talking about the UAP presence? I have no idea. But I will say this. For one thing, this threat is not even remotely different from anything we've seen before. This threat has been with us since at least the 1940s. Just because Congress has been left in the dark about this threat for many decades doesn't mean it hasn't always been here with us, engaging humanity. Secondly, I don't have even a remote problem with anyone in the US government calling the UAP presence a threat. Let me point out to you something Luis Elizondo said at the 2018 MUFON Symposium. National security? Well, if you have something that can fly in and out of your airspace undetected, you can't stop it, you don't know how it works. Is that a threat? I don't know. Is it a threat? The fact that we can't answer that, we have to presume there is a possibility it could be a threat. And I would submit to you, you want us to think that way. That is national security. You don't want us assuming that something is not a threat without all the data points. That is not what we pay the Department of Defense to do. And frankly, we don't have all the data points. What we can confidently say is that the UAP presence is not an overt threat, at least for the most part. One scenario that I'm aware of that breaks from typical UAP behavior is the 1977 Polaris flap. According to Wikipedia, the Polaris flap refers to an outbreak of UFO sightings that occurred in 1977 on the Brazilian island of Polaris. During the outbreak, the UFOs allegedly attacked the citizens with intense beams of radiation that left burn marks and puncture wounds. These sightings led to the Brazilian government dispatching a team to investigate under the code name Operation Saucer. but the government later recalled the team and classified the files into the late 1990s. Then, of course, we also have Skinwalker Ranch, which may or may not be connected with the UAP phenomenon. Undoubtedly, there have been very troubling things going down at Skinwalker Ranch. Finally, there is, of course, the abduction phenomenon that must be contended with. One of the most well-corroborated abduction scenarios took place in 1973 in Pascagoula, Mississippi. A few reasons this event is well corroborated is because two people got abducted simultaneously, and they later reported what happened to the police. Furthermore, there were eyewitness accounts of a UFO in the area when this all took place. Very recently, Fox News show Waters World interviewed Calvin Parker, who was one of the abductees in this incident.
Stories of UFO sightings and alien abductions date back centuries. Or claim you were abducted when you were with a friend 45 years ago, and now that your friend has unfortunately passed away, you feel comfortable sharing it because he didn't want to really go too public with it.
We were fishing. We actually got off work in Pascagoula, Mississippi, and they landed behind us, and three of them got out and took two of them got a hold of Charlie, and one got a hold of myself.
Okay, one second. What did they do to you when they took you up in space, or wherever they took you?
Well, when I was aboard the ship, the female reached and run her finger down my throat and tried to mess with my nasal cavity, looked in my nose, and there was something that come out of the ceiling, and it just clicked about 4 times, and I figured it was like an X-ray or something, whatever they used. And they went back up in the ceiling. Then she summons the old big ugly one that come got me, and he took me back outside and set me down at the river.
I can assure you that Calvin Parker and Charles Hickson did not sign any consent forms to be taken on board an alien spacecraft to get examined by physicians of the universe. If indeed they actually were abducted, this poses a problem that will have to be dealt with as we passage into a post-disclosure world. Do you know what else is going to have to be dealt with? UAP near misses on private and commercial planes, attacks from energy beams, the routine and ongoing turning off of nuclear missile facilities around the world, the routine incursions into highly restricted military airspace, people experiencing exotic technologies that cause phenomena such as missing time, cattle mutilations. There's probably more. Now, don't look at me like I'm some kind of negative Nathan. I've actually hypothesized that whatever intelligence we're dealing with has positive implications for humanity. But that doesn't mean we stick our heads in the sand and ignore that stuff which cannot be ignored. On August 8th, 2018, Roger Marsh, the director of communications for the Mutual UFO Network, MUFON, and editor of the monthly MUFON Journal, dropped some bombshells on the radio program Midnight in the Desert with host David Schrader, the likes of which you're just not going to believe. I got this lead from an anonymous individual. Roger shares details of the conversation he had with Luis Elizondo over a dinner that occurred the weekend before the radio program aired. Elizondo reportedly said there are many more videos that are going to be released in the near future, and they are going to be even better and more spectacular than the first 3 that have already been released. Moreover, the next wave of information is coming as early as January or February 2019. Roger also conveyed that Elizondo said, and I quote, "Whatever you think and whatever your top ideas are about UFOs, to sit back because it's going to get weirder and weirder and weirder." So, what do I think? I think what I've thought since I witnessed the October 11th event when Luis Elizondo said that the phenomena is indeed real. We're on a one-way path to disclosure. It's going to be a fun ride. Please don't forget to subscribe. My next video is probably going to be on Skinwalker Ranch. You're not going to want to miss that. If you'd like to support this channel, you can check out my merch shop where I sell t-shirts. Link is in the description, or you can even become a patron, or you can just slap a like on this bad boy, and I'll appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.